Strange, yet true stories, tales from the light side, the dark side, and the other side. I'm Steve White, the Giants of Kandahar. This article was written and brought to you by WND.com. It's one of the most bizarre stories to come out of America's longest war. An allegation United States Special Forces engaged and killed a giant in Afghanistan. But it's being reported by multiple sources. Several eyewitnesses claim the battle not only took the life of an American soldier, but that the government flew the huge corpse of the attacker back to the United States. Reporter and researcher L.A. Marzulli explores the spectacular charge in the newest installment of The Watchers, the blockbuster series investigating the real evidence behind the Nephilim. These creatures were the offspring of the sons of God, the angels and the daughters of men. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, and Numbers chapter 13, verse 33, the Bible speaks of giants populating the earth. When ordinary people saw them, they said, "We were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight." A strange passage, but one Marzulli contends is backed by evidence. What's more, these giants didn't just exist in biblical times, but live on through the present day. According to one of the interviews in the program, a Special Forces team operating in Afghanistan in 2002 encountered one of the creatures while on a patrol looking for a lost unit in an isolated part of the country. A soldier tells Marzulli his unit made its way along a goat path near a cave where the team noticed an unusual pattern of rocks, bones, and, ominously, a broken piece of communications equipment of the type used by the American military. While pondering this, the team was surprised by a man at least 12 to 15 feet in height. The creature had long, red hair and pierced one operator, identified as Dan, with a pipe-like weapon. The remainder of the team opened fire, repeatedly shooting the creature in the face and eventually killing it. The full length of the engagement was only 30 seconds. After the battle, while mourning their fallen comrade, the military sent a helicopter to remove the creature. "It was too big. We couldn't move it," the soldier claimed. "It smelled worse than a skunk, a corpse that's been around for a while. The communication was sent out that we had a very large, possibly human creature. But the soldiers were told afterward to rewrite their after-action reports. So we had to rewrite it the way they wanted it," the man claimed. The soldier confirmed the giant was armed with a weapon similar to the type Marzulli identified as the Nephilim lance, found at another location and tied to other evidence of the existence of this creature. Other sources support this bizarre story. George Norrie, host of the wildly popular radio program Coast to Coast AM, appears in the film to discuss his interview with a C-130 pilot who claims he transported the giant's corpse back to a base in Ohio. The pilot said the creature was approximately 12 feet tall and weighed approximately 1,100 pounds. "It just sounds like the Nephilim from the Bible, doesn't it?" Norrie enthused. Marzulli blasted what he called a government effort to cover up the spectacular story and prevent those involved from speaking out. "People have a right to know about this stuff," he said. "If there are 15 or 18 footers roaming the earth and our military has brought them down, we have a right as American citizens to know about it. I mean, this isn't classified military stuff. This is something we need to know." Another operator who spoke to Marzulli said those in power have a vested interest in keeping the story covered up. This soldier testified there were rumors at his base in Afghanistan about the engagement with what became known as the Giant of Kandahar. "We started hearing a rumor about a unit that killed what they were calling a really tall person," he told Marzulli. "At first, I didn't think anything of it. I come to find out that the person they killed was actually 3 times the size of a man, had extra digits on its hand and its feet, and had red hair. A special unit had come and wanted this target. We'd heard they killed this thing inside a cave or the mouth of a cave." The soldier alleged the rumor was actually widely circulated among military forces in Afghanistan. It was common knowledge among the military to hear this, he charged. Years later, I came to find out when I returned from Afghanistan and had met other military members that had not been in the operations with me. If you would bring up the giant of Kandahar, they'd know about it. He confessed the story sounds ridiculous. At first you think, this has got to be a joke. This has got to be a hoax, he admitted. Then after things go down a certain way, and you keep hearing it, you start to realize it's not a joke. They keep telling us to keep our weapons high, which means normally you are ready to put 2 in the chest or in the head. But they kept telling us to put it towards a man's head and put it higher. So we would question, why do they want us to shoot higher than a man's head? The soldier also said local people told seemingly ridiculous stories about giants who would attack humans, even eat them. We would hear the locals talk about rumors of these giants, he said. They said they would live in the caves and they would eat people. They were cannibals. At the time, we compared it to tales of Bigfoot in the United States. Address that kind of
Okay.
To actually all of a sudden hear that a military unit had killed something, though, the soldier trailed off. In the film, Marzouki investigates not only the incredible story about the events in Afghanistan, but other evidence of strange creatures, including skeletons and skulls found all over the world.
So much.
He suggests the sheer preponderance of evidence shows there is something substantial to these seemingly mythical tales of giants told all around the world by various cultures. And for one group of American soldiers, it may have been strange but true stories, tales from the light side, the dark side, and the other side. I'm Steve White. The call is coming from inside the house. That line doesn't have the terror that it once did prior to everybody having cell phones. Back when the movie When a Stranger Calls came out in 1979, those words would send shivers down the spines of anybody. But phone calls can still bring a certain amount of terror and confusion, especially when the person on the other end doesn't exist in this world any longer. As fantastic as it seems, the mystery of phone calls from the dead is not an uncommon one. Those who have researched the phenomenon have determined that these calls usually occur within the first 24 hours of the death. But there have been cases in which the calls were received as long as 2 years after. The call is usually filled with heavy static, and the phantom caller's voice is faint, as if far away indeed. Following are some remarkable instances of phantom phone calls as told by the people who experience them. In some cases, it's the phantom who answers the phone. But in every case, the experience remains strange. Something strange indeed. I come from a really close family. I have 2 older brothers, and we are really close in age, so we have a lot in common. Their friends are my friends. My oldest brother, Jeremy, had a really good friend named Joe. Joe was always hanging around our house, and he had this big personality and a distinctive voice. You always knew when Joe was around. But Joe got sick, and his health went downhill fast. He died soon after he got sick, and we were all devastated. He was young, vibrant, just a short time before. Now, he was gone. Joe's death obviously affected Jeremy a lot. My brother Matt and I were also deeply saddened, and we just went through the motions of life for a while. A few weeks after Joe died, the phone rang, and Matt answered. Hello? After a few moments, the voice on the other end said, "Hey,
Hey, Matt, it's Joe. Is Jeremy home? Something really strange seems to be going on.
Matt freaked out. It didn't just sound like Joe. It was Joe.
Boo.
Matt couldn't really think of what to say, so he just said, shakily, "No, he's not. I'm sorry." The phone line went dead, and Matt looked at the caller ID. It read, Alf